There is a secret to becoming permanently profitable, says our next guest. He says it requires a simple shift in mindset and that you forget accounting as we know it. Here with some smart tips to help your company earn more than it spends is Mike Michalowicz. He is the CEO of Profit First Professionals, a group of accountants, bookkeepers, and coaches that drive profitability at entrepreneurial businesses. He's also the author of the newly revised and expanded book, Profit First: Transform Your Business from a Cash-Eating Monster to a Money-Making Machine. So good to see you.
So good to see you.
And the book was so successful the first time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That it is coming out newly revised. So let's just get to your first point about ditch logic. What do you mean by that?
So traditional accounting is very logical. You take your sales, you subtract your expenses, and what's left over is profit. The problem is, there's a study by the SBA, 83% of businesses survive check by check. They're not profitable. So what's wrong? And what's wrong is we, humans, are not logical. We are behavioral. We're emotional. And what comes last gets ignored. What comes first gets prioritized. Old accounting, sales minus expenses equals profit, says profit is last. You wait till the end of the year and say, oh, I didn't make it this time, maybe next time. But with sales minus profit equals expenses, that's what I'm suggesting, where you take your profit first, a predetermined percentage of every deposit goes to profit, you assure profitability.
I get it. Okay, so that's your point, put profit first. So basically say, this is how much I want to make, now I better make all of my expenses fit here.
Right, you actually have to reverse engineer your profitability.
Okay, got it. Okay, then use the envelope system. I suspect that helps you in this.
Someone in the Ramberg family did it, someone in my family did it. It was the old envelope system. My mother actually, when she would get a check, she would cash it in and put a portion into food, mortgage, and so forth.
Right.
When she would go to the food store, she'd use the food envelope, and there was always enough money. Now, don't confuse that with always the same amount of money. There was always enough money. Sometimes she worked more, sometimes she worked less. But when she went to the food store, she worked with what was in that envelope. In our businesses, we need to do the same thing. When money comes in, set up multiple bank accounts for different purposes. To pay yourself, the owner, to reserve money to pay your taxes when they're due, to have money for the operating expenses, for materials, all these different envelopes. Divide up the money based upon percentages, and then only work with that envelope to buy the stuff you need.
And what happens if you suddenly see, oh, there's an amazing marketing opportunity that's going to take more money? Where do you borrow from?
You better get innovative. That's the problem. And that's what most people do. There's constantly innovative, great things. I shouldn't say innovative. There's constantly opportunities you could do. And then we don't innovate. Oh, I can just run a Facebook ad for $10,000. Oh, I have the money in my own pay. I might as well take it from me.
Right.
Don't do that. You start unwinding the system. The rule is this. If you can't pay your bills with the money in the operating expenses account, you don't have enough money to afford those bills.
Well, this is to your point, remove temptation. And what I always say is, think, if you end up having money, before you start spending it, think, what would I do when I was first starting out? What would I do if I didn't have this money? And maybe you'll come up with a better idea. Maybe you won't, but maybe you will.
JJ, that's when we were most innovative at the startup stages. But as we start to get more money flowing in our business, we just default to the dumbing down of money, meaning we use money to buy what's obvious.
Right.
I want to get you innovative again.
Got it.
So remove temptation. As money comes in, you reserve it for profit, to pay you and stuff like that, your taxes, hide it away from yourself. Literally transfer the money to another bank account that you have basically no access to. You have to go to the bank and get a certified check to pull the money out. Then you'll be forced to be that innovative startup business again with the money that you actually have.
Right, okay, and then finally just get in a rhythm. We talked about everything you have to do, so just start doing it, get used to it.
Yeah, so many businesses wait for the stack of bills to pile up, and then they see a check, a big deposit comes in, they're like, oh, business is great. And then they look at their bills and all the money flows out. It's very sporadic. We need to get in a rhythm. As money comes in, don't touch it, don't spend it, allocate it. Put the money in these different accounts. Then once every 2 weeks, I suggest, that's when you look at your bills and you pay with what's in your operating expense envelope. Now, here's the deal. If you can't pay those bills, you can't afford those bills, you have to find a way to cut expenses and increase your margins.
All right, Mike, love seeing you all the
Love seeing
time.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.